Welcome to the 200 Movie Challenge. And this is episode 29. So I said last week it was episode 29. I made a mistake. Last week's was 28.
I was just about to ask him, like, wait.
I realized that when I was editing it. I don't know. I must have miscounted, and no one listens to correct me anyways. So no, I looked. I'm like, oh shit, and I'm like, well, I'm not going in to fix it. I'm like, it is what it is. So no, this is technically number 29, which means next week will be episode 30. But we're not on next week. We're on this week's. And we got 6 movies, though. I don't know your last one, but I have to say, from the ones that I see, this is going to be a very fun, interesting week. But again, another week where we have, 6 movies, so we're doing well. We're catching. We're going to end at 136, officially being 2/3 of the way done as far as the amount of films. I know.
Oh God.
64 more fucking movies. Like, the funny thing is this, I'm going to say this before we get started. I probably joked about this before. It's like, and I realize this, and this is just me joking with you. Anyone that's listening won't get, like, it's like we could stop this. No one would care. No one would probably notice.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, and then I'm like, because it's hard. I'm just like, what the fuck? And then, but I know how our brains work because we stupidly set this up, and we're just like, we're gonna accomplish this. Because I know, Soto, once we hit the 2026, it's gonna go everything like back. We're like, I'm telling you, I'm like, we'll just do simple podcasts. We'll do our weekend podcast, maybe. But I'm like, we'll go back to the old school ways. We'll talk. I'll cut out like parts later. But man, because all the time don't get me wrong, I do enjoy watching movies again. I just think it's the amount of time and feeling, maybe one a week, going forward, or what, and because I might want to rewatch something, but man, like it is. But
I think the tough part for me is just that, like, if I'm feeling like I'm not gonna get to the second movie, man, there's a lot of pressure. And I gotta really think about like how I'm going to approach my life so that I can work around this project and be like, oh God, it's like, and then I just gotta go with whatever and just find it out. So, but I just find this getting into this kind of 70s range that we're heading towards. I know you're in it, but I'm knocking down the door.
I don't think I'm there yet.
It's like,
oh yeah, I am there.
Like, it's like, oh my God, okay. And I think I joked about it too, where Sarah was just like, well, we would be doing that, but you're watching movies now, so, and we got to get a movie in. It's like, yeah, we do. And to your point, we could stop. We could stop whenever we wanted to, but we started. We got to see it through the end.
Yeah. No, that's right. After today, I would have seen, looks like 74. And after today, you'll be at 69, dudes. So yeah,
I can't wait to tell you. Can't wait to tell you about my 69th film.
But no, I said, like when you talk about it, the point is, yeah, we have not watched a lot of movies, and this was a great idea concept. And I honestly did not think how much this would fill, because I think like you, there's times I know I might have it easier to squeeze in, but it's like I will sometimes look for like an 85 minute movie because I'm like, I can bust this out. It might be the best. And there is ones I know we'll talk about at the end. Like one I think we're both going to try and watch this weekend for next week. Actually, why am I spoiling? Thunderbolts, I want to see it. You want to see it. It just makes sense. So we do watch quality movies, but you're right. There is a lot of shit. And trust me, there will be some more shit today. But so that brings me to my first movie. Now, first of all, last week, I had a hit with Wreck, but then I saw Wreck 2, which was not a hit, and The Hunt. And there's a joke, I've seen a lot of, I don't mind seeing the cheesy movies, and I'm not talking about cheesy good. I'm talking about cheesy bad. You had me see whatever, Sharks on the Moon, Shark Side of the Moon, and stuff like that. But I was sitting there, I'm like, I need a movie that makes me feel happy. That just, I knew, I was at that point in my life, or at this point in this, I'm like, I just need something where I can laugh, not think, and just have enjoyment. And I was getting to that point, and don't get me wrong, I know I chose some of those shit movies. I only have myself to blame. So, but I was just like, because there are certain movies I've been wanting to see, or that might be on my list, and I just don't have time. But so anyhow, I knew I could sit down and watch a movie, and so I'm like, I need to be happy. So Soto, I specifically did not go to Tubi. I went to Disney. I went to Disney Plus. I said, I'm going to find a fucking happy movie for me.
Fancy.
because there is a few. I love cartoons. You know, I love animated movies. I love Pixar. Pixar has done a lot of films well. I love the Toy Story trilogy, Toy Story 4, but that's a different story. And there's a few that I know I'm like, oh, I haven't seen these yet. Maybe I'll see this. You know, like the fourth Despicable Me. I think the Minions are funny, but this one caught my
There's
eye.
4.
Yeah, there's well, technically there's more because the Minions had their own movies too.
Oh my god.
And so there's all these others. So anyhow, I was like, I need a fun Pixar movie. And
Mhm.
so the first movie I saw for this week, I saw the original God knows when, but I saw Inside Out 2. I did see the first one a few years. I don't know when I saw it. I know we watched it, so whenever it came out. And for those really quick recap of the first Inside Out, it kind of
Mhm.
mixes two stories in one. In a way, it's about this young Riley, who in the first one's kind of like a little girl, but she's becoming, 8 or 9, and it's about emotions, it's about, so there's like what's going on, but it's the emotions in your head, and they're played by characters. Do you remember the show Herman's Head? Did you ever watch that show? Do you even know of that show?
Herman's Head, yeah, it was
Yeah,
basically like a sitcom inside of a guy's brain.
correct. And that's the yes,
Yeah, it was like live action, if I recall.
correct. And I watched a few of
Mhm.
that, and I mean that was more adultish, because one was
Mhm.
kind of like, I don't want to say, a little bit of a creep, this and that. One was like the sensitive one, but that's the idea of what this is. There's like joy, there's like anger, and so the first one dealt with like sadness. Like sadness was introduced, and so it's kind of this young girl dealing with parents and life and stuff like that. It was well done, but it's also dealing with the emotions,
Oh,
joys. Because a lot, kids or babies, there's not a lot of different emotions, and it's the idea of like sadness now being a part of it, and her emotion joy is trying to push the sadness away. It's how this goes, and then obviously she knows it's all part of one. So that's how the first one went. So now the second one, Riley, the young girl, is now becoming a teenager. She's basically
oh,
like a
jeez.
12-year-old, and we all know what's become. So now there's a few new emotions that all of a sudden hit at once, from, and the main, and I don't want to say, you know, antagonist, but it's basically anxiety who kind of takes over the brain and pushes away the other emotions. We're
Yeah,
also
I know
introduced to
that one.
like other ones like embarrassment. But when you're a
Oh,
teen,
I know
you're
that one too.
12, you're 13, especially going into high school, you get all
Yeah.
these new things. So what basically it starts off, she's now she plays hockey and she gets to have these tryouts at the high school, but one of her favorite high school players is there, and the embarrassment and stuff like that. But the other thing that goes off is all of a sudden the first set of emotions that we were introduced to are all sleeping,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, and I hate to say it like this, the puberty button goes off in the brain and they panic, they don't know why, and that's how like all these other emotions come in.
Uh-huh.
And obviously
I
anxiety
remember.
takes over and Joy's like, no, 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 we do things my way, it's calm, and it deals with it well. Because if you think, we all have anxiety, Soto, it's not,
Oh, sure do.
but you don't want to think of it
Sure
as a
do.
bad thing, but when you're young and you don't know how to handle it, so it's the idea, yeah, it's taken over the brain, it's trying to tell all these other emotions how to do, and in a way it does take control and pushes, so the emotions are having like, they're trying to get back to where like the main headquarters is in your brain, just to regroup. So yeah, I love the Inside Out movies. So I mean, because it deals with something we all can relate to. We've all been there, and we're still dealing with it to an extent. Some adults might be dealing with it better, but and but
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
to
Because
say the least.
yeah, I mean, but when you're a teen and you're feeling a lot of these things for the first time, it's just like everything sucks. And I
Mhm.
think it also introduces sarcasm and then a very funny joke, which I had to laugh because obviously being older, and you'll enjoy this. Like, so there's this car, after all these emotions are they're trying to figure out everything. There's like this backdoor closet, and it opens, and this old lady comes out, and she's like, "Remember when we used to?" It's nostalgia, and all the emotions like,
Oh,
"No,
no.
you're not allowed to come in for another 10 years." And I'm like, "Oh, nostalgia's taking over my brain, baby." And I'm like, I
Yeah.
understand that,
Yeah.
but so yes,
Pretty
it's the
great.
emotions dealing with, how to deal with anxiety to not let it take over, but understand that it's going to be a part of you in a way, you know how Pixar movies go, just gotta all work together, be happy together, accept one another. And I think that's why Pixar does so many movies right. And I did love the first one, so this was just, and it was good, you know, because like I said, we all can understand what it's like being a teenager. We all dealt with our own shit. And yeah, so she's trying to make this hockey team. Her two best friends, she finds out before like these tryouts, are going to a different school. So she's basically losing that. So it's obviously dealing with that. And then she goes off to, she wants to be part with the not the popular girl, but the star hockey player who she idolizes. So she's pushing aside her friends for that. And so it is a well-told story. Like Soto, I don't think Pixar can really do bad movies. I'm sure they have, and we haven't seen it yet. Maybe, maybe I'm wrong. But you know, I'm sure you've seen obviously the Toy Story movies. I'm assuming you love. You know, I shouldn't say love, but you know, you enjoyed them. So
I did, yeah, and I always was a big fan of Pixar, but you know, I kind of lost the plot a little bit of Pixar with like a lot of things in my life, like movies. So I'm interested in like catching up on the ones that I haven't seen. This one in particular, I have not. So it's nice to know that it's available on Disney Plus. So the fancy streaming service.
I wouldn't. I don't know if it'd be fancy, but you know, it is, and because it does have Marvel, and we are watching a Marvel one next week. But yeah, no, I mean,
Sure.
there isn't much to say. People who, you know, it's Disney, it's Pixar. We understand, you know, the kind of stories they tell. They tell one that does hit your heartstrings a little bit, and because it is what it is. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I loved the first one. The second one was well done. Good inside jokes for adults, but something that kids can watch as well. But yeah, and obviously, you know, things wrap up in a certain way. Obviously, they kind of figure out, you know, I think anxiety realizes that it can't take over the brain. It's okay, but it's just like, no, that we're going to do this. We're thinking about this. Well, what if this happens? You know, and Joy's just there. Well, you know, what are the odds of that happening? And anxiety's like, but it could. Yeah, but it's not happening. So let's worry about it if that. And you know how it's about the craziest. Like you think something's going to happen that's almost impossible to happen. But it's still it's in your brain, and that's just how we deal with it. So, but I will say, if you haven't seen the first one, at least check out the first one. Like, you know, it is worth checking out. You know, it may not be the best Pixar movie. Like, it's hard to go up against like Toy Story, but like I said, it was fun. Yes, it is formulaic. We know how it's going to end. You know, a lot of Pixar movies don't end in sadness for the most part. But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this a lot. But the question is, you know, so it's because again, I did like the first one. But anyhow, the question is, as we rank all this shit, where does this go on my list? And so
really liked it.
I did, and it is gonna definitely be top 20.
Okay, feels like it. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. All right. At the moment, because this could change after I think about it. We change things a lot, but this feels like a good spot at the moment. I'm putting this at 16. So this is going to go under Colossal and above Mulan, the live action Mulan. Because I'm looking on, like, I really like Coherence. I thought that was a good story. I like Colossal. Those are very good stories, more adultish. Yeah, this seems like a good spot. I'm liking it.
Inside Out too. Okay.
As we say in all these freaking things, it could change, but I kind of feel confident in that spot, you know, at the moment. But yeah, no, definitely a top 20 from a lot of what I've seen this year. And again, I won't say enough. A lot of the Pixar movies are just good. And I kind of just wanted a feel-good movie. And I did. It was happy. It made me laugh. You know, I was just there and made me realize, God, yeah, I remember being a teen and doing stupid shit and probably embarrassing my friends to impress someone else and realizing, why the fuck did I do that? You know, because unfortunately,
all the time.
Even as adults, sometimes you don't think about it but you think about it afterwards. So, you know, the Inside Out movies definitely have a good story. And like I said, it's something that adults can watch, but I think it's something that kids can enjoy as well. So like I said, if you got time, Soto, I'm not saying you have to do it for this, but if you're looking for a good Pixar movie, like I said, I enjoyed these both, and I'm glad. You know, like I said, I just needed something to make me feel happy and get a good laugh, and I figured, why not Disney? Because man, I've seen a lot of shit, and we'll get to some shit in the next two, but we won't talk about that yet. So, but yeah, no, definitely, I would say check it out. So, like I said, if you got time, whether again this year, or next year, but it's on Disney Plus, and it was good, and That's all I can say.
Sounds
There's
interesting to
not,
me. I like the concept. The
no, it's,
concept sounds pretty cool.
but it's funny. I remember Herman's Head, and I've talked to people about this, and I remember one person said to me, she's like, "God, wasn't that like a disgusting thing?" And I thought about it a little bit because again, there's one guy that's kind of a slob that I hate to say because mind you, I think this was late '80s, maybe early '90s. I'm not going to
Didn't
100.
last. It didn't last long. I think it
No,
was
I think
maybe
it
a
was only
season.
two seasons. Maybe it was just one season. It was not, but I remember, and I know my dad allowed me to watch so much shit that I probably shouldn't have seen. But yeah, there's one guy that was very
Same.
big, kind of that way towards women, just like, oh yeah, come here, but and it was meant to be adultish, and I always remember him. I don't remember much about the show, a couple scenes maybe. Maybe something I should have watched when I was an early teen, but I always remember that's what reminds me of Inside Out a little bit because obviously it's not just what's going on in your life, but it's how your emotions are handling it and talking to each other in your head. And it's hilarious. I actually liked it, but
It's
yeah,
funny.
it is. Oh, but Soto, let's talk about what your first movie is. Now I'm going to say this
Oh,
before
yeah.
you get into it. It's funny when you told me this.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize it at first because obviously I kind of
Yeah.
looked things up or set things up. I've actually been seeing a lot of TikToks pop up shorts from this movie. Certain scenes.
Really?
Yes, with Michael Keaton, and I'll have
Yeah.
you introduce him again. And I'm like, God, this somewhat looks interesting. I've never known the title of the movie. I kind of knew there was a movie that took place about this. So when you picked it, I laughed. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I always forget to look into certain movies, but yeah, I've seen some TikToks. Again, I think the big scene is when Michael Keaton's just like, it's ready. Uh, it's just like, this is it. So that, so they, and I was like, oh, but anyhow, so what was the first movie you watched this week and kind of why did you choose it?
Yeah, surprisingly, right? It's like 2016's The Founder, and it stars Michael Keaton. And so, just to give you a little bit of background as to how I chose this, I think the night before, I had a few Chardonnays, and I actually went to bed pretty early, which is like 9 o'clock for me. And I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I
Damn.
couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. Like
I hate that.
I slept 8 hours. Like so, I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I was like, oh my god, I'm fucking wide awake. But it's about like 2 hours early to feed the cats. Now the cats don't know that because as soon as they see me leave the bedroom, they're like, oh, it's time to eat. And I'm like, no, it's not time to eat. I have to now, deal with them for 2 hours until I feed them. So I needed to watch something. I was like, well, I can kill a couple hours by watching a movie, and so. Um, I turned on Netflix, which by the way has this new like UI that confuses me and makes me think like I'm on Hulu or something like that. I don't know if you've seen Netflix's new like way that it looks like and the menu is, but it's like totally different than it used to be. Um, but one of the big little screen things was The Founder, and I think I had seen uh I don't know if it was on TikTok or Reels, but I'd seen obviously when Michael Keaton's character, who plays Ray Kroc, is overseeing the first like McDonald's kitchen, and he is kind of seeing like the efficiency and what these brothers do. And so to rewind a little bit, um, Ray Kroc did not like invent McDonald's. He is known as the founder of McDonald's. But what he did was he was a traveling salesman that sold like milkshake makers. And he was trying to sell it to like, these kind of oh, what are they called? The places where kind of like Sonic, where they bring the food up to your window. That's how it used to be like in the 50s. Do you remember
Yeah.
these
Oh
restaurants?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Drive. Yeah, not. Yeah, I hate to say driving, but I know. Yeah, Sonic more. But anyhow, like the old
Yeah.
school
But
diners, you
that's
sit in
like
your car. Yeah, they bring you up. Yeah, yeah.
right. So it wasn't like fast food. Like it was like it would take 20 minutes to get out to you. And somebody would, bring it out. There was a lot of like people hanging out there and it just wasn't very like fast service. And so he is just kind of at his wit's end and he's kind of in a dead end in his life, being this sort of on the road salesman. Then he finds out that there's a restaurant out in California, actually San Bernardino, where I actually lived around when I was growing up. Um, that restaurant had about like six of his milkshake machines. Um, and so Ray Kroc is like, oh shit, like, okay, like, well, then I got to find out what the hell's going on. Like, why would it must have been a mistake. So back then, obviously, you don't like call people. You just drive down Route 66 until you get there. But when Ray Kroc meets the two guys running the restaurant, they're the McDonald brothers. They're running a place called McDonald's, and they basically had just created the most like efficient way to run like fast food. It was just shakes, fries, and burgers. That's it. And the burgers were all done the same way and everything, and they were able to turn around really quick. So the clips that you've seen have been, when Ray Kroc is kind of looking around and being like, "Oh my God, this is like an amazing thing." So Ray Kroc then takes the idea of McDonald's and then, goes to the brothers and he's like, "I want to open up franchises." And then they explain that they've opened up franchises, but it's never really worked and everything. And Ray Kroc just really loves this idea. And then he goes off to town, and one thing leads to another. And he's created all these franchises across the United States. And he leverages the real estate that the McDonald's are like built on, and essentially ends up buying out the two brothers and buys them out for, I think, only like $1.47 million for like the McDonald's Corporation name. And then takes everything from them. They had asked for royalties, like 1%, which would have been worth $100 million a year today. But they did a handshake deal, and they could never prove that they had that handshake deal. So they never got that money. They tried opening up their own restaurant called like the Big M, but it was just never the same because, as you know, and anybody else who is listening, McDonald's in the United States is like as iconic as anything can be. And the movie starts off, it's very like kind of positive, and it's like this really kind of like great, like you think you're kind of, oh my God, the story of McDonald's, all that, oh my God, this is so interesting. I like shit like that. I know we talked about the history of Pop-Tarts earlier this year.
Yeah, but that was more of an embellished story, and
Yeah.
based on a small truth. But yeah,
Oh, that they blew up.
No, just about the companies, the rival companies trying to get the idea of a pastry, like a microwave quick pastry item,
Yeah.
quickly. But trust me, Soto, yeah, no. I mean, I know I've talked about this, but it's very embellished because they also do a Romeo and Juliet thing, if I remember, like with Kellogg's and both. Anyhow, I'm not going back into Unfrosted. Don't see Unfrosted. Jerry Seinfeld did it, and it's not good. So anyhow, no, let's go back to the founder.
Yeah.
Seems to be a little bit more truth to the founder than the Unfrosted.
It felt like it because then as the story unfolds, and I've told you most of it, but it gets a little bit darker, right? And so, this kind of feel good story about Ray Kroc, discovering McDonald's turns into like the ugly side of, and should be like a series of these movies that I've talked about in the last like almost 70 movies, is that the mentality that like, what will you do like for your passion? Like, is it ever enough? I talked about this in The Big Year, and I think I talked about in Devil Wears Prada too, where it's like, are you like going to sacrifice the things that are, really important in life for the passions that you have? Like, how far will you go? And Ray Kroc, he had a wife played in this movie. He's actually played by Laura Dern, who I really like.
So do I.
But she had nothing to do in this movie. Like, she was great, and she was like a very supportive wife for him, and like, but like, she didn't have much to do except to just be like neglected and abused by this man who just became kind of overwhelmed by, wanting to hit one last thing out of the park, because he's like already in his 50s by the time he discovers this kind of McDonald's idea. Kind of like how Colonel Sanders was older too when Colonel Sanders became Colonel Sanders. But he just devotes everything to McDonald's, ends up divorcing his wife and getting with another woman and everything. And it's just like, and he steals like, the kind of company underneath the two guys. And Michael Keaton as always, does a fantastic job in this film. And so I was very surprised, but it was like, he didn't end up being like a good guy. Like, as the movie went on, like his character just kind of got worse and worse. And even when he won in the end, of course, and is rich and gets to talk to Ronald Reagan, you don't really feel like he did win anything, right? Mm-hmm. And so overall, I enjoyed it. Great movie to watch at 5:00 in the morning. Again, it was obviously a movie version of like some events that happened, and I think because I've seen a lot of biopics this year, I feel like I have. I feel like this is probably one of the better ones that I have seen this year. Um, I mean, I know I've seen the Complete Unknown. I think was probably the best one I saw. But this was pretty damn good, I thought. I mean, I don't know if I ever watched it again. We always say that. It's like you watch a movie and you're like, yeah, that was really good. It's like, you want to see it again? No, I'm good. That's kind of how this movie is because I don't know exactly what I would want to see this movie again for, but yeah, that's the movie, The Founder.
And
I pretty much spoiled the whole thing.
no, it's all right. No one's listening anyways. And you know what? I mean, it came out a few years ago, but no, you know,
2016, yeah.
it's tough with biopic movies because, like you said, you watch it once, you get the feel for it, you can enjoy it, and like a lot of other movies, like
Yeah.
because you're explaining, you know, The Founder. You know what it reminds me of? Kind of the premise, The Social Network.
Mhm.
You know, because if you
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
that started off like it was positive. These guys, you know, however you feel about Facebook,
Right.
and then one guy screws over another guy, and there's all this. So there's a lot of truth behind this, you know, both biopics, and a lot of you're like, what the, and it makes you realize, yeah, sometimes to succeed that much, what will you give up, you know, and
Right.
so that's what it reminded me of. But you know where we're getting to, Soto. This is what your 67th movie.
Yeah.
Where in this list do you place Michael Keaton, The Founder?
The Founder.
I just like that name, The Founder.
I know, and I'm looking at it. I tell you right now, it's gonna be around the 30s. I want to say.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
Maybe, yeah, because I mean, it was fine. It was a fine movie. You know what I mean?
yeah. Just because you're not going to
Um,
watch it again doesn't mean like it's all, you know, not a great
it
movie. It's
was a
just
perfectly fine movie.
it was like a
And
McDonald's
to
meal. It's like a
me,
Happy Meal. You're happy. It's fine. It does its job, and you're not going to really remember it tomorrow.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure I went to McDonald's that day because I'm a stupid American and I'm
You're
eagerly
making me hungry right now. I'm not going to go to
McDonald's.
McDonald's right now,
I
but
know. I need some proprietary Coca-Cola that you could only find at McDonald's. God damn it.
because they send it in a special
Uh,
container.
yeah. I mean, all these American brands. That's a whole other Saturday podcast. So I'm gonna put this actually. What feels right to me right now is gonna be underneath the Beekeeper at number 34.
I was actually looking at the Beekeeper. I'm like, is he going above it? For some reason, I thought you might because it's Jason Statham. But
Beekeeper is really funny.
it
Like,
is.
and Beekeeper was one of the best movie experiences that I've had this year.
Okay, just but no, not
Memorable.
just middle of the road. This is it's okay. You know, you say whatever. What I just kind of lost at 34, whatnot. Yeah, that's middle of the
Yeah.
road for you. So that's not a bad place to be. That's like a C movie. You know, it's
Yeah.
okay to be C
Right.
movie. Oh,
It's not a bad movie. It's just that, I mean, it goes through the history of McDonald's, and it kind of shows Ray Kroc being a dick. And that's it. And then at the end, it's like, and we all love McDonald's. It's like, we do. We do. We all love McDonald's. We love those golden arches. Oh my God, let's go to McDonald's and eat some fries. It all started in 1954 with some bullshit.
everything starts with some bullshit. I will tell you this. I remember seeing Super Size Me, and after I watched that, I'm like, God, and I did. I went to McDonald's after watching Super Size Me. That's because that's all about the unhealthiness. Not like
We're indoctrinated into McDonald's in America. It's just we grew up with it. It's like nostalgic.
oh my god. Oh, the
Like I
Founder.
can drink a Coke from McDonald's. I swear to God, I could drink a Coke from McDonald's like in my car,
Mm-hmm.
and it brings me back to a very specific part of my childhood.
Yep.
Like immediately, I remember being 8 years old.
Yep. Eating Happy Meals, whether you got the burger, cheeseburger, nuggets. Yep. Definitely. It's definitely a good nostalgia place feeling.
Yeah, not good for you, but it was.
No. But as long as you're not having it every day, you know, it's okay.
Right.
But Soto, let's move on. And let me talk about my second movie. And
Okay.
so again, I go to Netflix. I think I saw on Netflix, and like you, I don't know if it's a new. I was looking at summaries. I'm like, I kind of wanted to get something in the suspense category, you know, because I like a lot of suspense thrillers. What's going on? We've talked about this. Some have hit, like Coherence, and some have missed. And so, Soto, let me read to you what I read that caught my attention, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fucking do this.
God.
No, it's well, yeah. I already kind of spilled the beans that my next couple aren't going to be the greatest, but anyhow, what I'm about to read is probably going to be the best part of this whole review. So hold on, so this is what I read. A woman is left handcuffed to her dead husband as part of a sick revenge plot. Unable to unshackle, she has to survive as two killers arrive to finish her off. Simplistic.
Wow.
So you're like, okay, I'm like, how the fuck does this happen? Where does this go? So I know nothing outside of what I read. And I think, again,
instant mystery.
90 minutes. I love it. I'm like, I can squeeze this in, chill, watch it, quick and easy. So yes, this is the 2021 film Till Death. And it stars Megan Fox. And yes, I did not have watching a Megan Fox film on my radar for this 200 movie challenge. This might be, I don't think this is a hot take. She's not a great actress. And I'll leave it at that.
No, not a lot of range.
No, definitely not a range. And Soto, there was no range in this fucking film. I felt so emotional. So basically, let me give you a premise. So she's about to celebrate her. It starts off actually, she's with the man, and they just whatever slept in. She's getting ready, and she's just telling him like, "You're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore with you. I'm like, you don't know what's going on." And she's like, "I gotta end this." He's like, "Well, can you just stay a few more minutes?" She's like, "No, I have to go home to my husband." So you already know that she's cheating on her husband with this other guy, and you're like, okay, already, that makes you kind of a despicable person. Just and she's the star of the film who we're supposed to root for. So they start us off with that, not give us a reason why her husband's not a great man. So now they're getting ready. Her and her husband are getting ready for their 10th anniversary. Big deal. This and that. And their whole interaction, Soto, I don't know if you got the two worst. Everything was so deadpan. Now I get it. They're in a loveless marriage. Something happened, and you can just feel the tension. But there is just, I'm looking at both these people. I'm like, I hate what's going on. And so they're going out to dinner, and they see this other, fancy restaurant somewhere that you have to like book well in advance. He is a lawyer, so obviously money, and you can tell there's a lot of money. But they're at a restaurant, and they see this other guy propose, and she's all excited, and they're just watching, and they're just this, and the husband looks at her, and it says, "Hey, do you remember when you used to act like that?" And so you're like, okay, where's this going? He buys her a gift. He has like this nice diamond necklace, and she's like, "I thought we weren't doing gifts," and he puts the necklace on her, and she actually got him a gift. She got him 50-yard Super Bowl tickets, and I'm like,
Jesus.
I'm like, how the fuck did you get that? Anyhow, so that she's like, well, you always want to go, and she made it crack. I forget what team he liked. He's like, I think she's like, maybe I thought the Steelers were going to be in it. He's like, oh, they suck, whatever. So they're leaving there. He's like, I got one last surprise, and she goes to the car, and he leaves a tip, and then you see the waitress open up the envelope, and he tipped her the Super Bowl tickets. I'm like, damn. That is a fucking tip. So wow. So that's this is the start. And then he takes her basically to a lake house. It's a lake house where they kind of have some fond memories. Now, mind you, this isn't like in January or February. So we're in wintertime. It's very peaceful. It's out in the middle of nowhere. And so he's just like, I'm trying to, I want to rekindle what we once had. Can we somehow get back to what we used to be? And she's just like, I don't know. And, he kind of does this whole ordeal. Like he had her blindfolded, obviously. And she, she sees like, he places like photos, old school photos of them smiling from probably, when they first met up to their wedding. And she candles. So I don't get why people, I know it's a movie thing. I want to find a real person who sets candles all over the house, up and down the stairs. Yes, I get maybe a candle or two, but all I think is like, okay, they're going to do their business in the bedroom. This is a fucking fire hazard. Like I never got that in movies. So I'm like, okay. So anyhow, yes, they have their night of passion and whatnot. And you find out that, Yeah, he was one of the big things you find out. Yeah, he's a lawyer. He used to be a prosecutor, but he went to become more of a defender because you make more money being a public defender and stuff like that, or getting basically the vet. And so the morning comes, and she's kind of waking up, and her husband's just sitting on the side of the bed, and she's like, morning, morning, and she's like, oh, did you leave a window open because it's chilly? And she raises her hand, and she's handcuffed to him, and he looks at her, and he's just like, did you have sweet dreams? And she's like, yeah, what's going on? She's kind of confused by this, and he's like, well, it's time for you to wake up. And he pulls out a gun and blows his own fucking brains out.
What?
Yeah. So yes, all of a sudden this happens, and she's just like,
not see that coming.
Well, I mean, I did give you the premise. I thought she woke. And she's not even crying. Like, again, Megan Fox, not a great actress. So now she's hooked to a man who's obviously weighs a lot more. There's no cell phone service because, again, we got that topic going on. What we always say, just movie device. So she's trying to find a way, and she literally in the closet, her wedding dress, like there's nothing else. Her wedding dress is hanging up there. Like, he leaves this clues. He knows she knows he's been cheating on her. But what you also kind of find out is he got in trouble with some people. They were going to basically blackmail him. And so his business, he was going to go under. And one guy who somehow went to jail because of her is now out of jail. Mm-hmm. So basically that's what they did. This lawyer left her and basically told these two guys, listen, the safe's here. She knows the combination, get the combination, do what you want with her. Like, basically giving her up on a silver platter to a man who wants to murder her, which you kind of find all this out in quick backstories as the time's going on. But she's lugging him around. So she takes the wedding dress and she has him on it, and she's trying to, because there's no knives, there's nothing in this. So she's trying to even find a way to chop off his hand. He's cleaned out this house. And again, they're in the middle of a fucking lake house. And so I'm just so bored. I just like, none of this. Like, the premise was there, but the execution was not. It turns out the boyfriend or the guy she was sleeping with was invited, was told to come there, and it was a setup. So he was there when these two guys come. And it's so dumb because, like, she can't go anywhere, but she's somehow dodging two people for a while, lugging her dead husband who is handcuffed to her. So I don't care how dumb bad guys are. There comes a point where you just follow the trail of blood. And look, there she is. So, yeah,
right. Her life.
This is one of those movies I just got bored with quick, and I'm just like, okay. So she goes to like a boathouse. She's dragging him across the backyard to a boat, where she finds like something like an anchor. But they can see the trail and they still can't find her. Like, I don't get it. And everything. It just does not make sense. And I'll be honest, Soto. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil this because there's nothing to spoil. But no, this was just shit. This is pure shit, Soto. Maybe better acting, maybe a better story, but I'm just like, how dumb can these two robbers? They finally do find her, kind of, and they're like, and she doesn't know the combination, and he reads a note, and he's like, no, it's the day your husband proposed. And that was it. Like, yes, no. There's very few movies that pains me to watch, and I know I've watched a few.
Wow.
And this one was getting painful because, again,
news for you.
I wasn't expecting, like, I don't expect greatness. Obviously, I knew I wasn't expecting much out of this, but I'm like, give me a good suspense, because the premise kind of reminded me about I think it's called Gerald's Game, a Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
Very simple, but that dealt with the psyche because, that was more, her husband was kind of just having his way. It got to a point where, I hate to say raping, but she kicked him off the bed and he hit his head on the floor. And obviously this book was written before cell phones, and he died. And now it's like she's handcuffed to the bed. How does she, and all this shit's going on.
Right.
So there's, like I said, I just felt like the story could have been more, or just a more likable character, but they literally started off with her cheating on her husband, and this is supposed to be the person you're feeling sorry for, instead of creating, okay, why is he the asshole? Which technically he never was up until this point. He just got pissed. This is a revenge plot, though. You know, like I said, from my understanding, it's not like he cheated on her. That was never implied. It was just became a loveless marriage. She was on cheating, and he found out. But his business, interactions, what he was doing was shady stuff, which they barely go into. So I don't even know why. His business was going to go. Something was happening. He was just going to kill himself. He's like, well, I'm going to fuck my wife while doing that. Just tell her, give her up to this one guy who wants to kill her. So yeah, I'm like, technically, I feel like he's somewhat the good guy in this marriage, but he's not. But yeah, so when you write a story where you don't want to root for anyone, I honestly wrote for the killer's little brother, who was just like, let's just go. He was just so likable. Then obviously he dies. Because, I mean, you need to have a character arc. I mean, as bad as it is, we joke about the rules. Like, I mean, this does have a beginning, middle, and end, but man, there was a bad way to get there.
Everyone's so obsessed with like having a good idea for a movie, and we've talked about it on so many movies this year where the movie had an interesting premise, but it just could not do anything beyond just having, an interesting premise. Because you just told me about this movie, and if I'm seeing, that description sight unseen, it looks pretty interesting. So
I read that and I was in.
But then you're describing it, I'm like, I can easily picture this being boring with Megan Fox. Easily. It's just the way that you do it. It's like you don't have any stakes in anything that's going on with anyone, and you're not ruining it. You're not rooting for anybody. You're just watching things happen, and that's not a great movie. At least with the bad movies that we watch, there's a reaction. I think it's even worse when there's like no reaction, like when you're just bored out of your mind.
So Soto, I'm kind of looking at my list.
Yeah.
All right.
You've seen a lot of movies.
Yeah, no,
You've seen a few.
This might go lower. I had a gut feeling about this. But I'm just kind of looking. This should tell you something, Soto. This should tell you what. At the moment, and this might go. I can't put it under that though. I might have to switch a couple of these bottom ones low. But it's funny that you mentioned the Pop-Tart movie. So Soto, I'm putting Till Death at 63. It's going under Shark Side of the Moon. Okay. I mean, that should tell you something. It's going above Unfrosted, but I'm kind of looking now what's underneath some of this, and I'm like, I think I might have to bump up things like Kinda Pregnant and Black Dynamite. I realized somehow because don't get me wrong, I wasn't fans of the Kinda Pregnant, was very cringe, but I did laugh. So I have a feeling I got to look at this bottom 10 again. I'm like, I can't
just to make sure,
because here's the thing. I'm looking at Till Death. I'm like, it was better than Unfrosted. Unfrosted was a fucking mess. And I feel like, and I know Lift needs to be down there because Lift was just so unoriginal. But I looked, I'm like, I can't put Till Death above Shark Side of the Moon. I just literally can't. I enjoyed, as cheesy and as bad as Shark Side of the Moon is, I'm like, I would rather watch that again till Death. So I'm saying right now, I have to put it on Frosted, but I'm going to, after this episode, I think I'm going to rearrange this. But I'm looking at some of the things I think that just got bumped down not by accident, just some habit. Yeah. And now that I'm really thinking this, I'm like, some of these need to be up a little bit more. There's just no way. So I'm telling you right now, Till Death will go down. I'm going to rework my bottom 10 a little bit, not my bottom 4 or 5, because I think that's so perfect. I think it's pretty it's this middle section. I'm like, yeah, I think. Yeah. So what here, actually, now that I think about it, here's what's going Black Dynamite and Kinda Pregnant are basically going to both go up a couple, and Till Death and Unfrosted is going to go down. I think I was just kept remembering how cringe Kinda Pregnant was, but then I kept now that I'm thinking about that, I'm like, but I did laugh. Like, it was bad, but there were some parts I laughed at. I'm not saying I want to go watch this Amy Schumer movie again. So, and same with Black Diamond. It just wasn't for me, and I'm already kind of forgetting. I'm like, but I did laugh at some parts, even though the overall thing, I know you love it, and we're not going to get into it, but
it's fine. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I'm just, but now that, like I said, as I'm talking out loud about this, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I think things, because Till Death, I still would put above Unfrosted. So yeah, I'm going to rework this. So yeah, technically that would put Till Death to like 65, 68, whatever. You'll see a new bottom, but this bottom section is going to get reworked. But yeah, no, don't see Till Death. I read that and I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm interested. I didn't even know Megan Fox was in it. like I said, and then I said, I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I don't like Megan Fox movies, because there is no range, no acting abilities, just a pretty face that for certain people. So, all right, we're leaving it at that. I can't. I don't want to overthink about this bottom 10. So, no. But your next movie intrigues me because this is a movie I've heard about for different reasons,
Wow.
and this because I think this is the start of the Sandler Netflix deal. This might wasn't this the first one, if I remember correctly. I could be
I
wrong, but
am
anyhow, I give
not
the floor to
sure.
you. Tell me about this choice.
I am not sure, but so I think I've seen two Adam Sandler movies this year between Happy
Three,
Gilmore 2.
Murder Mystery. You saw
Which one?
Murder Mystery.
Oh, two other ones besides Hubie Halloween that I'm about to talk about right now. Oh, by the way, Hubie Halloween. So okay, it's the end of summer. Um, Starting to kind of feel like fall. So, was looking on the old Netflix clicker and saw like a Halloween based Adam Sandler movie that I've never heard about.
You never heard about this before?
Never have I heard about this.
Oh,
Never did I even know what could this movie could possibly be about. All I knew was that it was Adam Sandler from the thing that he was in Salem, and I love Salem, Massachusetts. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, and I also heard that it was one of his like, his one of his Village Idiot type movies where he's just playing obviously somebody who's mentally handicapped. So I was like, okay, like whatever. I never even seen a single frame or trailer of this movie,
I like it because you went in
and
blind. I like going in blind sometimes.
completely blind. Like, because I wasn't watching shit. Like 2020, I was doing anything but watch like movies. I just had no idea what was even going on in pop culture. So I turned it on and look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I, Adam Sandler, like, and like who he's become. It's like if I was 12 years old, I would probably laugh a lot more at Hubie Halloween than it was. Like I was kind of like looking for like sort of like maybe some New England jokes and stuff because I have seen like That's My Boy, which I've mentioned before, is like one of my favorite newer Adam Sandler movies. It's just to me, I laugh at it every single time. But I had this one right here was just like there was cameo after cameo, so that kind of reminded me of Happy Gilmore 2. There was a lot of Easter eggs in it, and the humor was just like the lowest common denominator humor.
Yeah,
Um,
it's based what I
any
heard.
low class joke that was like that you could have was there. It was like low effort, whatever. I wasn't mad at it. Like sometimes, I don't mind Little Nicky. I know Sarah loves it a lot more than I do.
I never saw it.
I don't mind Little Nicky. It has its moments, but we've talked about it before. It's like kind of like that's where it turned for Adam Sandler a little bit towards when Little Nicky came out. But you know what? He has his cult hits, right? Like of movies that are bad that like are good, or that they become like beloved. I don't think this is gonna be one of them. Like I'm like I'm this movie like I didn't hate this movie. Um the stupid things happened and I was like, okay, haha, like Easter eggs happened. I mean, there were some really stupid jumps and Steve Buscemi is in this and essentially the story is that he's some guy who I don't know, keeps the town of Salem safe on Halloween or some shit, but he's like disrespected and he gets into I don't know, like the kids are picking on him and shit like that, and they're throwing their candy at him, and there's like a running joke that they keep throwing heavier. It's like if AI had to create an Adam Sandler movie, that's what this movie basically is. It has all the Adam Sandler bullshit that you can expect. Um, I will probably never watch this again. Like there was nothing rewatchable about this movie at all, and the jokes were really whatever to me. But I like Adam Sandler. So like if someone were to come to me and like to shit on this movie, I'd be like, yeah, but he clearly wasn't into it. He was just mailing it in. He has his kids in the fucking movie. Like, it's basically for 12-year-olds. And if you're 12, you're going to love this movie. That's it. For me personally, I cannot recommend this movie to anyone like at all. I would never recommend that you watch this movie. In fact, you will probably hate it from the very beginning of the film all the way to the end. I can understand that a movie is terrible while I'm watching it and not be emotionally invested in how terrible it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, there is levels of terribleness. But no,
Right.
I get it. I just
Acceptable levels.
well, listen. There's somewhere
There are
you're like you just
acceptable levels.
know. We just talked about Till Death, and I'm just like I can't. But there's some like I'm again going. I'll say Shark Side of the Moon, where I know this is terrible. Like I'm okay with this terribleness
Going in.
because I understand what they're going for. So yeah, I get it. I have levels of, for lack of a better term, stupidity which I can handle. Some days I just can't handle it, and it how it catches my mood. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about this one, to be quite honest with you. I had a feeling because I'm not stupid either. Like I know that if I haven't heard of an Adam Sandler movie, it's probably not a good one. So I was like, "Ooh, I haven't heard of this," and it came out 6 years ago or 5 years ago.
2020. Yeah.
I bit the bullet. This will not stop me from watching Adam Sandler movies. Clearly, if Happy Gilmore didn't stop me, like I will continue to watch Adam Sandler movies so long as the Adam Sandler movies are free. I will never pay for an Adam Sandler movie, although I am paying for Netflix, but you know what I mean.
So
I'll probably end up watching Mystery Party too. We'll see.
So yeah, before you get into your rankings, I kind of had to look this up. No, this isn't the first. I didn't realize it was more as recent as 2020. But yeah, he's had every year. He's had a Netflix film up until 20 and probably beyond this. So 2015 was called The Ridiculous Six. 2016, The Do-Over. Yes. Then Sandy Wexler, The Week Of, and then Murder Mysteries 2019. But yes, it is part of the. I, for some reason, thought Hubie Halloween was a lot older than 2020. I just heard how terrible it was. I mean, that's just fan reaction. I forgot about it until you mentioned it. I'm like, oh, yeah. Not on my radar because, like you said, a lot of these Sandler Netflix films, I'm like, oh, this just does not sound good. I only did Happy Gilmore too because it was Happy Gilmore. So, but the question is, Soto, the magic. You might be looking through your list. Where does your 68th movie rank? Where are you putting Hubie Halloween?
This is gonna be. It's gonna be ranked low. But I want to be very clear. I'm not mad about it. Like I would never see this movie again. Like, and it is what it is. But it is objectively a shitty movie. It just is. Now, did I enjoy it more than some of the other shitty movies I've seen? Well, I mean, I can't put it ahead of The Brutalist. That's for sure. I didn't like The Brutalist, but that would just be stupid. But I'll tell you what, Chad.
Ooh.
As I look at my bottom 10, I'm like, no, I wouldn't watch that over this movie. Like there are movies here that I wouldn't watch again. This is higher than it should be, but it also states it illustrates to me that I've seen a lot of shit. Because I'm putting this movie. Yeah, I am putting this movie at number 57 above End of Watch and below The Brutalist. I can't put it any lower because once I start seeing all those movies, I'm like, no, those are all like, I didn't like those movies. Like, and I don't want to ever see them with my eyeballs again. Could I watch Hubie Halloween, like, drunk somewhere down the line on a Halloween, like if the mood strikes me? Yeah. Will I ever watch Shadow again? No. And I don't ever want to even be made aware of that. I want to forget it as soon as possible. Or only God forgives. So solid 57 for Hubie Halloween for me.
It's solid 57.
Mm-hmm. That's solid.
These numbers are getting funny for me. I don't know why. It is. It's just like you're ranked
on the edge of shit.
Yeah.
On the edge of it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of shit. Oh my god. But yeah, no, Sandler Netflix films, like I said, I heard of a few. It was becoming a running gag. I think Hubie Halloween, I don't want to say it was the more popular one. Just I think more people watch it. Same with the Ridiculous Six. Murder Mystery, I think was a lot of people had better reviews for. And that's not
Oh,
saying
I
much.
enjoyed it. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
but it was still. I
Dude,
think that was still like middle from what you've seen this year in the middle. But my point being, a lot of these Sandler, he just cashed in and was just doing these fun films. So whether or not we enjoy them or not, he doesn't care. Or maybe he does. Who knows?
he doesn't care, dude. He really doesn't. He's this is his job, and he gets to hang out with his friends all the time.
You know what?
And
Good
his
for
two
him.
daughters.
Because that's all we would want to do. I would love to sign
Oh my
whatever the
god,
freaking
dude.
200 million Netflix deal or whatever it was.
And just do stupid ass movies with your friends all
Yeah,
day, and
you
like
already got
hang
your
out with your
payday.
daughter, and like be like, yeah, oh cool, like we're just all hanging out for 20 days, and we get to just talk shit and be in a movie. Like, wow. I hope that people like this. It's like I don't care at that point. It's like how much millions does he make from his Netflix deal?
A lot.
Yeah, he has an exclusive deal with them, right? So
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's crazy. He's like a resident. He has a residency at Netflix.
Now I could be wrong, and I don't want to sound like him, but I heard it was a crazy amount, like a 10 film deal or something, or maybe it's even higher. But
I do take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no, I mean you're making 10 films, you're getting a shit ton of money, and
Yeah.
that's not even included what he will make on top of that. You know what the film does on Netflix and stuff like that. And you know what though, for us, yeah, it comes right to streaming. It's never in theaters.
Mhm.
We can just like fuck it, we can see it. So yes, we
Yep.
do pay for the subscription, but yes, we can see it for free as well. So,
Mhm.
but Soto, I found an interesting
yeah.
movie.
Oh, yeah,
No. Let me tell you something, Soto. This has a very interesting concept, one that we're sold on. I saw now the name might deter people if you do not know, but I saw a 2014 film. It's a horror comedy, which we've seen a lot of these, and they can be hit or miss, called Cooties. Now, this movie stars Elijah Wood. It also stars Rainn Wilson from The Office. Now, let me tell you the quick synopsis before I get into it and why I chose this. All right. Elementary school teachers come under attack from children who have been turned into vicious monsters by contaminated chicken nuggets.
Okay, I see now.
So, first of all,
I see.
it is a kind of a zombie, but those quick zombies, like, again, I go back to 28 days, 28 weeks later. But to me, I'm like, wait, children are turning into zombies? And they're fucking killing them in horrific ways. I'm in. I know this sounds sadistic,
also
but
a Chad genre right there. That's for
I'm
sure.
just like, this is hilarious. And I love Elijah Wood. I know it can be hit or miss outside of Lord of the Rings, but I'm just like, okay. At first, I thought, because when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like cheesy. Because no, these kids are tearing apart these teachers, ripping them, eating them, and it's just fucking hilarious to me. So that's why I chose it, because I'm just reading this. I'm like, this could be, this is dumb, but this could be gold. So that was my idea. So yes, Elijah Wood plays a substitute teacher. He's kind of come back from home from New York City. Though he doesn't tell the other teachers he wants to be a writer, but he's kind of failed at writing. So he's living with his mom, trying to rewrite his book, which his mom basically shits on in a way. He's like, oh, did you read it? And he's like, what did you think about it? And she's like, oh, I loved it. He's like, listen, I need constructive criticism, please. I'm not going to be. She's like, okay, well, I really felt that the two main characters, the love interests, just weren't likable characters. And she shits on the whole thing. Like, the story didn't really go anywhere. And then she, obviously, like a mom does. But you know what? I read it, and I really love it. So he even kind of admits afterwards he's a terrible writer. But yeah, so he's trying to make some money, and they call him up. And to substitute teach an English class. So that's how he ends up at the school. He sees his whole someone he had a crush on. Rainn Wilson's almost like the gym coach. But the movie really starts off, they're showing how chicken nuggets are made. And if anyone's seen how this processed meat gets made, it is fucking disgusting. I love chicken nuggets. We talked about McDonald's earlier.
I try not to.
Don't think about it and don't look at it. But you kind of see that something weird gets into it. And yes, one of the kids ends up eating it, and it takes a couple days. So she turns, and that's how this whole thing happens. And all of a sudden they're at recess. And these two bullies are picking on this girl, and she turns and just starts basically bites into one. And obviously, anyone who's seen zombie movies, they bite into another, and they're tearing apart. Like I said, the teachers who are kind of watching it. This one guy. Now you watched Lost. I can't remember his name. He was like Hugo, the guy that won the lottery from Lost. I don't know if you remember that kind of.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
So he's in this.
Hurley?
Yes, thank you. Hurley.
Yes.
He's got a very small role, but he's kind of like the crossing guard, and so he's on break and he goes to his van. Like you can tell, all of a sudden he's just taking all these mushrooms, and he's just like, the kids will be out in a little while.
Oh God.
So hold on, I got to read this line. So all of a sudden he's seeing this, all these kids attacking, and he calls the principal. He's like, I might be under medication, but I think the kids are eating Mr. Peterson. Just the way he delivers it. And I'm dying laughing. Like he thinks he's tripping balls, but he knows what he's seeing. He's like, is this real or am I just, so yeah, the few scenes he's in was fucking hilarious. And, so obviously now all the teachers inside are seeing what's happening, and they're like, "What the hell's going on?" Like, do we go out there? They're like, they're fucking eating. Like, what do we do? One teacher goes, is like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on here." I blame the rap music. So there is a lot of bad lines in this too, Soto. So I will say this isn't going to be quality. But yeah, so the kids are basically terrorizing the school. The teachers are trying to find ways to get out. Because now parents are coming to pick him up, and so Elijah Wood does get bit. He gets scratched and a little bit, but he doesn't turn. And they find it. So what they kind of find out is basically anyone who's gone through puberty does not get affected from this. Why? I don't know. We're just going to call it reason, Soto. They don't fully explain it. Because there's this young girl who she gets bit too. She's in the bathroom, and they're like, oh, maybe this is the reason. And she also got bit, but she's not turning. But the teachers are trying to figure out. They're like, hey, have you gone through your time yet? Has that happened? Like, it is so awkward and so bad. I'm like,
no.
But I'm still laughing at these fucking kills. Because again, this is a horror comedy. We've watched a few, and just the seeing 4th and 5th graders terrorizing adults, it's fucking hilarious to me. But Soto, I gotta read a couple lines. This is why this movie goes to shit real quick. So this premise is
no.
This is really, like I said, and I'm laughing and I am enjoying it. I get the absurdity of it. I get the comedy of it. And there is a lot of fucking blood. So it starts off as a very good horror comedy, just for my taste. And like I did, I blame Matt rap music. One guy's kind of just looking at him. They throw like breaking the fourth wall. Rainn Wilson's like, "Oh, we should fight the children. You just want to go sneak back in the office like a little hobbit." Like, okay.
Oh God.
But here it is, Soto. I'm going to read you a line that's going to basically now just tell you where the rest of this movie goes and why I checked out. So Rainn, I think what's this Rainn Wilson? I can't remember. I had to write down this line. Basically, you know how it is. Like all of a sudden, someone gets they got the hordes, and you think they're dead, and they pop up later. They somehow survive. Again, reasons. This is how. Soto. You know how I beat the terrorist after 9/11 through a positive attitude. Soto, that was a line in this movie. Comparing zombie kids to terrorists at 9/11. And why? I have no idea. I'm like, what the fuck was the point? It was very random. And I've said this a few times. I did. I kind of checked out because it kind of got old. It was the same joke over and over again. And when that happens, you're like, all right, I'm done.
The old premise that got old.
Yes, because we've seen a lot of zombie movies, and this is cliche. It's basically they're to the point like, let's just get out of the school area. There's just nothing they can do. Like parents are picking up their kids, and they're getting eaten. So they, it's one of those things, and they realize this is happening not just at the school, all around town. Because this one place that makes that processed chicken nuggets, obviously a few things got out. So that's where, like Dawn of the Dead, they're like, we just need to leave, get to the next town, figure it out. which they do, and that's when they realize like everything is a dystopia. So yeah, no, so this got bored. I got bored.
Yikes.
So no, it started off. I was laughing. I was like, again, this was a good amount of blood. This wasn't like a scene of a movie where they don't show the blood because of kids and stuff like that. They go all in of ripping off arms, peeling off faces. You're like, oh shit. So like the first third, you're in this. Yeah, and you're laughing. Yes, you get the absurdity of it, but everything else after this is just like, I say no. I honestly, I hate to say it, I was checked out. I was, but I did enjoy the first third, and it ended. It was one of those movies like, yeah, there could be a sequel, but no,
First
please.
third.
Yeah, first third. Check out the first third. Check out as the kid, basically when the kids turn and before the first plan, I guess, when you're just seeing the kills on the recess and the deaths. It's fucking hilarious because you do not expect like a third or fourth grader, and I'm being serious, rip off an adult's arm or rip off like another kid's face. They don't hold that back, and I can respect that. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Go in. You just go all in. It's okay. It's a movie, and I was okay with it. But the gag got old quick. It did, and they didn't go anywhere with the story. It was just a matter of survival, which we've seen in countless zombie movies, and so it's basically nothing new. And again, Rainn Wilson, funny as shit. Like I said, funny as shit. Elijah Wood, great in his role, but nothing else was too memorable. I mean, they even have the janitor who turns into a kung fu master.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
you
Oh,
know
dear.
with
Oh, dear.
and then
No.
that he was just a part. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like no. So yeah, if I see the first, some part of the first third on a TikTok or a short, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna laugh my ass off. Again, we talked about that. I'm not gonna watch this again. Did I enjoy? I enjoy parts of this a lot more than some of the movies I've seen on this list. But overall, yeah, I'm not gonna go recommending this much to people. But like you kind of mentioned, if I was drinking and this is on and it was the beginning, I would watch it again. I would definitely watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
I would go about my business probably a third of the way in. But like I said, I wasn't disappointed. It hit its mark. I laughed. But after that, I was definitely done. So
Like
yeah,
when the credits hit, how did you feel? Like when you saw the credits.
glad it was over. So I just because I was just like, okay,
Wow.
but
It should go on a DVD right there. Glad it was over, Chad.
Because here's the thing. Again, they go. We've seen this. Like I compared to Dawn of the Dead. Same thing. I know Dawn of the Dead's a little bit darker, more adult, but they're in the mall. They get out. They go to the next town. What do they see? The town's just like where they came from. So it's like, what the fuck do you do next? So again, it had that similar ending. It's just a matter of none of these characters grew. The love stories didn't really go anywhere. And like I said, the kills after again, because they're kids and it's fucking hilarious. After a while, just, because again, if you hit puberty, yeah, you might die because you're going to bleed out, but you're not going to turn, and they never fully explain why. They're just like, we don't know why. It's just what we're saying, and we're going to do that. So yeah, no, I was glad it was over. When I tell you, I was kind of scrolling through TikTok as I was watching this. Yeah, that was it. Now again, this isn't in my bottom 10, but it is closer to the bottom. Because again, I enjoyed the first third of it. There was enjoyable parts to it, and you can't, that makes a okay start. I'm kind of looking as we're talking, so. All right, so my thoughts on this right now. This is literally going to go right above Beetlejuice. 53 right underneath Smiley Face. I think that's a good spot. Again, because I was still very disappointed. I did enjoy some parts of Beetlejuice. The disappointment hit me more than it hit me in Cooties. I think they just went nowhere. They had this, like you said, a great premise. They hit it out of the park in the beginning. If that's your style, not everyone's into horror comedies, and I completely understand. I know earlier this project I saw was Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That for that style definitely hit it out of the park because they had a premise and it was hilarious and it changed up and you're like, what? I laughed at that throughout. Whereas this, like I said, I did laugh the first third. It got old. So right now, I feel that feels like a good spot for me because I did enjoy. I'm looking at the movies above it. I enjoyed them more. Um, I probably would rather see Cooties than Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm 53. That's kind of where I'm sticking with that right
53.
now. 53.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, because I enjoyed some parts of it. It's not like going to go towards the bottom because, like, if it just missed the mark from the beginning, I can see, like, Till Death, which I just talked about. Yeah, I could go lower, but again, I enjoyed parts of the movie, and that makes it better than when I think the whole movie's shit. So I'm there. I'm there. I think it definitely could have been better, but Cooties. I never thought I would.
Cooties. Starring Elijah Wood.
How about contaminated chicken nuggets? Mix that with the Founder movie, Soto. You know, the McDonald's.
I know. Thank you, McDonald's, for that.
Um,
Ugh, chicken nuggets.
but Soto, so I thought
Yeah.
this was it, but you said you had a third movie, but sixth movie overall, and you wouldn't tell me. You wanted to surprise me, so I give you this. What is the last movie we're talking about today?
Yeah, this movie came out in 2017.
Okay.
And I will tell you the premise of this movie.
Oh.
And then I will tell you the title of this movie.
Uh-oh.
Okay? So, all right, movie starts off. Okay, we got a priest, pastor guy talking to his congregation. Everything's going great, doing priestly things. Goes outside, sees his mom and dad outside. He's like, "Hey, mom and dad," and then mom and dad get blown up in their car.
Whoa!
This sequence of events leads to this young man, this pastor, to go on a journey of self-discovery, right? To kind of, find his religion again and his belief in God, and trying to understand like why God does the things that he does.
Why God blew up his parents.
Yes.
Okay.
This leads him to his journey to China. In China, he sees a woman running away from a bunch of ninjas, and she is shot with an arrow. And in her dying words, he catches up to her and everything. And in her dying actions, she gives him a trinket. That's his hand.
Wait, what?
This trinket is that the problem with the trinket that he received from the woman in China who was being chased by ninjas is that it was the claw of a dinosaur. Chad, this movie is called The VelociPastor.
Hold on, let me spell this correctly. I gotta look this up. The Oh, there you go.
Not Velociraptor. The VelociPastor. The pastor.
So before
whose
you continue,
superpowers is to turn into a dinosaur. Yes.
So let me just. All right, I got this. You watched the Chad movie this week, is what you're telling me. So I am so proud of you. Oh my God, I'm looking at this. A man of the claw. I'm looking at the cover art. I just kind of Googled. I'm glad this is an hour 15. This is it's horror comedy. Okay. Oh my God, the VelociPastor. Okay.
The VelociPastor.
Wait. Is there a sequel?
There is also a sequel.
Okay, all right. It's not getting the sequel. Yes. I'm sorry. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself.
We're not there yet.
I
know. It's a great.
Oh
premise,
my God! But, all right. Continue. I am so sorry. I was not expecting this. Go ahead. Continue.
Like a pastor having to fight ninjas that have been trained in the Christian ways of fighting. Yes, it's that kind of a movie. There is a pimp in this movie called Frankie Mermaids. He's called Frankie Mermaids because he's swimming in bitches. and that is his character in this movie. Also responsible for killing the VelociPastor's parents,
Oh,
which the VelociPastor kills him during confession. So he's still doing his pastorally duties, but then he rips into the guy. The pimp is confessing that he killed his parents, and so he rips through the little confessional with a dinosaur hand, which is clearly, by the way, a glove, and it just kills this man in a violent way. And when his parents' car blows up, I want to point out that instead of the car being shown blown up, it was just a blank parking spot, and it said VFX insert here.
what?
So yeah, like it's got the quality of Sharks of the Corn. Okay, it's a little bit upper. It's a little bit in that range. Sharks of the Corn kind of like cinematography. When he's in China, he's just walking into a nondescript forest, and this like big letters, yellow letters, it just says China randomly. And you're like, okay, he's in China. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is yes, the premise is ridiculous. I'm gonna tell you right now, Chad, I fucking laughed a lot during this movie. Like, this movie actually made me laugh a lot. It's a horror comedy. It knows that it's obviously, this is the whole like joke, is that it's like trying to be this kind of a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be 100% honest, it doesn't all work. But when it does work, is fucking hilarious. It's kind of again, it's self-referential. It knows that it's like sort of in on the joke, and that's what started becoming readily apparent to me like as I watched it. But it wasn't done like in a corny way. I know I'm talking about a movie called VelociPastor, in which you see him as a velociraptor in like a shitty Halloween costume, like eating people. Like, I'm telling you, like, I will send you these TikToks after we're done of what this movie looks like. But dude, there were parts where I genuinely fucking laughed out loud, like really hard. Like, I just couldn't believe what the fuck I was seeing. And yeah, I even texted my sister during it because she was the one that recommended it. And I just texted her. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm not hating this experience. I thought I was going to be like watching a Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies, slaw kind of a vibe. But I think like you were surprised with Dark Side of the Moon, I was kind of surprised with how much I enjoyed this movie.
So I was going to ask a question
Yeah.
earlier. You kind of brought it up, and
Yes.
why did your sister recommend this movie to you? I'm just really curious. How did this? I need to know this story. How did this come around?
Because my sister watches really bad horror. Like, so she will watch the Sharkensteins, like the Sharknadoes, like, because we grew up watching shitty movies.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you did too. But we would grow up, and we would oftentimes I would enjoy the shitty movies more than I would enjoy the serious movies. And so we watched a lot of bad movies. And so my sister has really kind of continued, that same vibe of just, going to. She saw this, I believe, in the theater because they knew it was going to be like kind of like Snakes on the Plane. It's like
This
everyone
was in
knows it's a
theaters?
bad movie. It's being made. I think it was in theaters because I'm pretty sure she saw it in theaters,
Okay.
like in a screening somewhere, because she saw it with like a friend of hers. Because we were talking about it at a cookout, and she's like, "Oh my god, VelociPastor," and I was like, "I saw it on Tubi," because we were talking about Tubi and all of its wonderful treasures that are on there. And I had my eye as something I was gonna watch, and then when I had some time today, that's when I was like, I'm gonna fucking slide this in because, as you saw, very manageable runtime. So I
Mm-hmm.
knew that if I got fucked here, that it would be fine. But it did not overstay its welcome or get boring like some of these stupid ass movies do with these like kind of thing. It leaned into absurdity, and to me, if you lean into the absurdity just the right way, I will laugh my ass off. You can't go too far because obviously Sharks of the Corn made no sense, and so the other movies that we saw too. But I actually laughed a lot during this movie, and it's going to be rated a lot higher than I thought going in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of know where I went with Shark Side of the Moon. I got to hear this, Soto. So let's get right to it. Where are you putting this on your list?
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm gonna probably watch this movie again,
What?
like for fun. Like, this is a movie that this is a perfect have a bunch of beers, put this movie on, and just laugh at how stupid it is kind of movie. I don't know the last time you saw a movie like that. For me, historically, that's Super Troopers. Super Troopers is just a movie that when I first watched it, I watched it with a bunch of friends and we all just laughed, and it was a great sort of communal experience. This is going to be one of those movies as well. And I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you that it's actually going to be, because when I first started watching it, the first like 5-10 minutes, I was like, oh, this is going to be in my bottom 10. And it has gone a lot higher than that since I've thought about it. I'm gonna put this. For now. This could change because I'm kind of wishy-washy on it, but I'm gonna put it right above The Devil Wears Prada at number 29.
Whoa, we're in
VelociPastor.
So
I
hold on,
enjoyed
no,
it
hold on.
way more than I enjoyed Slaughterhouse.
So this is your new number 30 because this is going in between Northman and Devil Wears Prada, correct?
Oh yes, I apologize. Yes.
No, I just want to make sure.
Fun.
No, it's just because I get it. All right.
VelociPastor. There we go. I had to write it out, but yeah.
God, I did not think top 30.
It's not. This movie has like cult classic vibes to me. Like this is a movie that is like your classic stupid done right, silly kind of movie that looks like trash. Like I said, not everything lands in this, but you know, I fucking, because it's dumb. It knows it's dumb. There are ninjas in this. Okay? There are ninjas in this fucking movie. Like, so it knows it's not serious. And so I enjoyed it. I thought this was great. I thought it was going to be a lot shittier when it first started out. But as the movie went along, Chad, and I'm not fucking kidding you, as this movie went along, it won me over, which does not happen. Like often, it's if I see where it's going and I don't like it, I check out real fucking quick. But I found myself enjoying it more and more as the movie kind of went on, which is very rare for a movie that looks like this. And I will send you TikToks. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. I have not been on TikTok too much. I know the last couple of days. I know I quickly responded to something earlier today because I finally saw it. But I am now looking forward to this. Holy shit!
Yeah, I will curate the VelociPastor, Chad. That's for you. And it was a surprise.
Number 30
in my heart. It was a surprise. I thought I was going to just violate myself by watching something like this.
I was expecting, yeah.
You know what, dude? Colored me fucking surprised because I enjoyed the shit out of this. Like, and around certain people, if I was in a crew and they were like, "Hey, man, like, we're doing shots and we also got like VelociPastor on the background," I'm like, "Oh shit, VelociPastor is fucking crazy." That's how I would feel about it.
Oh my! I did not expect this.
The premise is a pastor turns to a dinosaur. That's one of the greatest premises I've heard in my life. A movie. If somebody pitched that to me in an elevator, I'd be like, "When do we start filming?"
Oh my god. This is a perfect way to end this episode. So next week we're going to be doing episode 30. I know we both talked about it. We're going to both watch Thunderbolts. I think that's like going to be a similar movie we both watch. So I don't know what else I'm going to watch. I know that's on our radar. So who knows what might turn up.
Idea.
You know, might find something shit like Till Death. You might find a hidden gem like The VelociPastor. Who would have thought?
I wouldn't have thought it. It was a surprise romance in my life. I did not think that I would find The VelociPastor to be anywhere near enjoyable. But and you know what? Maybe it's just me. But if you like stupid shit, that's actually pretty funny. This is right up your alley.
Oh my god! All right, but that should do it for this week. Soto, next week when we talk about this, week 30.
Yeah.
Our 30th episode. You know, I know we skipped so it's kind of further, but our 30th episode will be next week. And
holy bananas.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're 2/3 of the way done. We're still right on pace. Nothing's changed. So yeah, we're working to movie 200, which most likely will be Terrifier 3. unless it comes free
Oh,
earlier.
I know.
It's going to be on a rate, whether or not it's, I know 200th movie, unless somehow it becomes free and we're worried, we don't know, but I think that's what we're kind of working
Yeah.
towards right now.
Yeah. Oh God. What a
Yeah,
crescendo to end this. What a way to end this thing. It's like, let's just end it by watching something horribly violent on
it's a Christmas
Christmas.
movie.
Yeah.
So I saw the first Terrifier as movie number 7. We saw Terrifier 2 at number 12. So that tells you how long ago we saw the first two. And I just feel like it feels like, again, it may or may not be a 200th movie. I just feel like it's definitely going to be on our radar right towards the end because of Christmas. It depends how things play out. Hopefully it becomes free. But anyhow, that's another week. And we had some very, very interesting choices this week. I will tell you that.
Sure
I
did.
cannot wait. So, but again, anyone that's listening to this, just hopefully, if you like what you heard, subscribe and go out there and watch The VelociPastor. I think no, Inside Out 2 had a better rating. Watch Inside Out 2 or VelociPastor. Those were our two highest movies this week. Have a good week.
Yeah.